Well, hello and welcome to Jessic Biking. This is Michael, your host, so to speak. This video is going to be a little bit different than what I normally do. It's kind of like a compilation based on another video I did about 3 years ago on painting your bicycle rims an easier way. And after 3 years, I have gotten such an overwhelming response like I wouldn't believe, or you wouldn't believe. Over 87,000 people have viewed it. 60 some people have put their thumbs down on it, and I don't know why. I guess they just don't like painted rims. But there it is. These come off bicycles I just cannibalized on my new build that I'm doing now. Here's another one. This is a 20-inch. And so basically what I'm trying to prove is that I'm not the only one that paints bicycle rims. These are manufacturers that paint the rims to fit their bike style. But what I'm going to do is the fact that so many people have asked me how you do this, how you do that, how you prep your product and everything. And I said, well, after several years, I decided to do a video and hope that it helps other people in excuse me, in the future, that you don't have to go over the top, labor intensive prepping, like taping off each rim or whatever. Lately, due to my old age, my hands cramp up, so I've had to do another technique. And that being, I leave the bicycle tire on, and what I do is I tape around it to keep the paint when I'm spraying off the tire. So I've already started. Basically what I do is I take the blue, the narrow, because the wide you have much more difficulty of trying to maneuver it. So basically what I do is I get it a little bit on, let me put it up here so you can see it, a little bit on the rim, and as I push down on the tire, it gets underneath the rim, so it doesn't sneak in between the crack. Let's see if we can see it now, or the tire. And let me put this down a little bit so I can see it a little bit better. You can lay it on your lap and just take your time. Like I said, this is a new technique that I've had to do lately because, like I said, my hands. And that way I make sure that if I put a little bit on top of the rim, that it will sink down below the rim and keep the paint from getting in between the rim and onto the tire. And of course, being the narrow, I'm going to have to put a double strip. Now that I've got it completely covered, you can do it before you put the tape on or after you put the tape on. We need to sand, rough up the rim. Now this particular rim, I'm going to have to do 2 or 3 times like I did in the last video. But I got a rim that I'm showing you now that I'll show you later. I'm only going to put 1 coat of black, 1 coat of primer, and 1 coat of clear. Reason being is it's going to be the back trailer tire, and it's not going to have no brakes on it, so don't have to worry about the brakes rubbing off the paint. Basically what I start off with 120 grit. You don't want to go any lower than that, like 60 or 40, is because then the grit gets too big and you end up gouging your steel, and it'd be very difficult to fill that in to make it look presentable. So what I basically do is I take a little piece of 120 and I sand across all the way around, and after I do that, and then I get the spokes. And I usually start at a starting point where I know where I'm going. So you sand it till you get it to where it starts looking kind of dull, and then you know you've sanded it down to the point where you're going to be able to, paint's going to hold. I've already got one started. And being the rear tire, I have stuck it on the back fork, and I've done the same thing to this. And after you sand it with 120, you want to take 800 grit sandpaper, because this will rough it up just enough, won't add any big gouges, and it'll get your paint ready to do the second coat. Now, this here is going to be the one wheel that I'm only going to do one coat. I've already painted it, and now I'm getting ready to do the primer. And again, you sand it the same way using 800 grit sandpaper, and you want to sand it to the point where it's all kind of like foggy all the way around. Now, since I'm not going to be using this for braking, what I'm going to do is, let me get my sheet out so I can okay. What you want to do is you want to, I'm putting it on the stem. I've taken the front forks off and the wheel and stuff. So this here is an easy way because you don't have to hold it, sand it. So what we're going to do is, since I've already painted it with primer and the black paint, I'm getting ready to put what is called a clear coat. Now you can use it satin clear, you can use it gloss, however you want your wheel to turn out. But for me, make sure all my tape is secure. Alright. Now you want to spray in the area away from your frame, and you want to clear this from here to here. Now, alright. So you just more or less start at the rim and work your way down to the hub. Now, as you can see, I've missed some spots, so there we go. Now you're done painting. Now, basically, like I said, it's a simple technique that I use where I put the rim, on the chainstay and seat stay in the back, and sprayed it with a clear satin lacquer. Now, first thing you want to do, again, we're going to do a review. You're going to sand it down with 120 grit sandpaper, and then you can tape off. You can either take the tire off, but for me it's a little bit easier and it doesn't afford the chance of me touching the rim. So after I've sanded the rim, I've put tape all the way around. I've sanded the spokes and the rim. Spray it with, I use this here, which is a primer and paint at the same time. So I kill one step right there. That's why I say an easier way. Don't work hard, work smarter, not harder. And then after the paint dries for a couple hours, then I sand it with the 800 grit sandpaper to rough it up just enough to be able to apply the paint and it'll stick. It won't wash off. So, and after that gets done, if it's a tire or a rim that's going to have brakes on it, you want to do 2 coats of black paint, as I stated in the original video. Sand in between each coat with 800 grit sandpaper. Let it dry for a couple hours. That way it really sets up good. And then sand it with 800 coat sandpaper and put 2 coats of clear lacquer or satin lacquer, whatever you want to use. That way you build up a resistance to the paint being rubbed off, because I've seen a lot of bicycle rims that I've gotten where I've had, it looks like they only put 1 coat, and because there's not much distance between the paint and the bare steel where the bike brakes have worn it off. So like I said, I want longevity. I want to be able to have the paint last a lot longer than a couple years. Basically, if you do get some brake pad dirt or residue, whatever, you can wash it off a lot easier just using regular soap and water. So that is about the end of this particular video. Hope it helps you. If you have any comments, leave them in up there and ask questions and what you want to know about how I did this or did that, and I'll be more than glad to answer you. Like I said, this to me is the easiest, and like I said, this is one technique that I've added since the original video, because like I said, because of my hands. I'm 68 years old and my hands cramp up real easy. So until next time, this is Michael from Majestic Biking wishing you a good day and have a good weekend. Bye now.